Hey guys, welcome back to the Waxing Table podcast. I'm Mikala, and today we are joined by a very special guest. Her name is Miss Stephanie Miranda from Waxology 101, and she's in Houston, Texas. How are you doing today? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I feel like Mondays is our rest day for us waxers. So I'm
Yes.
excited. But yes,
Yes,
thank you.
of course. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, I am super stoked for this episode because I've been following your journey for a while. And I'm excited to for you to share with our audience kind of like how you started and how you got your how you made your print in this waxing industry. So, tell us a little bit about you and all the
Perfect.
things.
Of course. Well, my name is Stephanie Miranda. I am from Houston, Texas. I'm actually just opened up my own salon with three other amazing waxers here in the heart of Houston called Heights Houston. So I'm very excited about that. My journey actually started about I'm going to seem old, but this started back in 2006 when I first got licensed. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I'm almost hitting those. um, Working in the salon industry since then. It was very difficult back in the day because in the early 2000s, social media wasn't a big thing.
Right.
Um, Facebook had barely started coming out. Actually, Facebook, the only way you're able to sign on to Facebook was by being a college student. So that's something like that's very surprising with people nowadays. MySpace was dying down around that time. So it was the journey in the beginning was very difficult, but that definitely taught me a lot now. And so, yeah, I started my journey in 2006, started working at the salon industry since 2008. And that's when the recession hit around that time. So it was like you're either going to make it or break it back then. And I wasn't busy back then. I may have had one facial client per day and one Brazilian wax client per week. And back in the day, I don't want to seem old by saying that, but back then in the early 2000s, waxing wasn't a thing. You only got waxed if you're going on vacation, if you had like some special like holiday, an anniversary. So waxing, some people back in the day used to get waxed, maybe 2 to 3 times a year.
Mhm.
So I knew I wasn't going to survive in 2008 with the recession being like this if I'm going to stay in Houston, Texas. So at that time, um, I want to say I was working at the salon for about 2 years. I wanted to move somewhere that I knew the beauty industry was booming, and I had three choices: either New York, California, or Miami, because those three are the three cities that everybody wants to move to. That's very big in the beauty industry. And I decided to move to Miami in 2010, started working for a European Wax Center with them for about a year, and then got promoted to be their corporate wax trainer after that. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
I,
how was that experience for you being a
uh,
trainer?
Well, surprisingly, so I was a waxer for them at one of their most busiest locations out there in Florida, in Aventura, Florida. After a year, that's when, I wasn't sure what my future was going to be with that company because I specifically went over there to be a trainer. A little birdie on the side did tell me that a lot of their trainers come for the corporate locations. So that's exactly what I did. I saved up money for about 3 months. I moved out there. And when I went for my interview, I told them, this is what I want to do. I'm leaving my friends and family back at home. I'm here in Miami by myself. I signed a lease without even having a job yet. And I signed a 12-month lease out there. But my goal here is to be one of your trainers. And yeah, after a year, they did hire me as one of their trainers. And I got to travel, I want to say about 32 states with them. So many cities. I've even got to go to one of their Hawaii locations. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
That
so I
is so cool.
I know. I did that for the following 5 years. So I was only waxing with them for 1 year. And then for the rest of the 5 years, I was one of their corporate trainers.
Wow. Okay, so how did that come into play? Like you said you were there for a year and then the position opened up. Did they tell you about it or did you like inquire
So they
about it?
so the a position had opened up, and this is pretty interesting. And so let me backtrack. When I told them what I wanted to do, why I was there at their interview and how I moved there, basically, the hiring manager at the time said, "Okay, you want to be a trainer? This is exactly what you have to do. You can never be late. You cannot call out. You have to be forward to volunteer to pick up days whenever we need it, and you have to be top three in our sales." And I'm like, okay, got it. I have like nothing to lose. I have to like go all in this. And so a year had passed by and the position was up for a trainer. And I was like, okay, I think it's been a good year. It's been a good enough time for me to prove that I want to be one of their trainers. Well, they ended up giving it to someone else, the position. And
Mm-hmm.
it kind of puts you a damper, into your confidence. And then it started making me question myself. Why did I come out here? What is all this for? Because I know, I love, she's my friend now, but back then I'm like, this girl's always calling out. She's always late, so were they just telling me just to play me or, so I started questioning a lot of things and I had to talk with my manager and I told her, look, my lease is going to be up in 2 weeks. I came over here specifically for this. I do know that the corporate wax trainer position only opens up maybe once a year. So I don't want to wait another year. And if me moving up with this company is not something that I'm going to be looking forward to in the next near future, then I think I'm just going to head back to Houston, because I just, it's hard being somewhere without your family, miss
Mm-hmm.
giving, missing like Mother's Day. That was really hard. So because this was coming up with Christmas and New Year's, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be there if I wasn't going to be a trainer. So she was kind of, disappointed that I felt that way. She said she was going to talk to the other, big dogs up there on the corporate level. And 2 weeks later, they actually made a position for me, which I became their
Oh.
wax trainer, follow-up trainer, sorry, their corporate follow-up wax trainer. So basically what my position um, entailed is that once a location has been opened up from day 1 to day 7, I will go out there 6 to 8 weeks later and basically teach these waxers how to go from blue level to white and orange, and sometimes even red. So there was times that I will fly out to one city. The second day I would, do a follow-up training with them. And then by that nighttime, I was flying to another city. So for 3 weeks out of the month, I was traveling specifically, for them, training, locations for one day to how to become a faster waxer and move up in levels, and also like, some sales tips. And I was working with them for, 3 weeks, and then I will be off for 1 week a month.
Okay. Wow. That's great. I love that. I love your story. I love that. They created a position for you. I love it. So, okay. So this is still around the time where waxing really is not really a thing still, or is it now starting to kind of become more popular?
No, yes, waxing started becoming new because of European wax centers,
Okay.
because they were up like a Starbucks or your McDonald's, like, oh, what's that? So they started. They were more, I guess, how you say, like, people were wondering, what is this? A full body waxing salon that only uses hard wax? That was unheard of back then.
Hmm.
My training, I even asked, oh, where's my soft wax at? Where's my soft wax for the full body wax? And they're like,
Hmm.
no, you use hard wax here. I thought that was crazy. You use hard wax for legs. I just didn't hear nothing like that. So because your European wax center were popping up in every corner, and they were affordable, everybody was rushing in there to, to get a wax, especially the first week of them opening up, they were offering free waxing. So everybody was like, what's this buzz going on?
Right. Okay. Wow. So how long were you? with European Wax Center?
Almost 6 years.
6 years. Okay. So in your 6 years, what do you think you learned the most from that experience? As far as like, I know, of course, the waxing was there. Do you feel like you really enjoyed that side of it? Or do you think, hey, like I was just kind of doing it for a time?
So me personally, what I learned working with them, what was how important it is to teach someone hands-on training. How important it is to be patient when somebody, who's learning how to wax. It did teach me a lot of patience. It also taught me how to cater to different types of training styles for each individual, because not everyone's going to be a hands-on learner. Not everyone's going to be a visual learner. Somebody needs to just go out there and just keep making the mistakes until they perfect it. So to me, aside from the waxing experience, I learned more of a trainer experience, when it came to European Wax Center. And I know people have their, opinions when it comes to that company. I have more of a positive experience, and I want to focus on that, because if I focus on the negative, on they working you like a sweatshop there, little to no pay, I wasn't going to be happy if I focus on that. But I needed to get in there, learn what I have to learn to potentially have my own salon, in the next future, because they will give you the tools that you need to be successful. And I think for me, they gave me a really, really good training tools, to be a good trainer and eventually, teach other people how to wax one-on-one.
I love that for you. And you brought up a really good point because everyone does learn differently. And it's important to cater your teaching to, the person that your student that you're being taught or that's being taught. And especially because now in this, 2023, here we are waxing, and a lot of people, estheticians and waxers, have courses, and they're also trainers as well. So I think it's important to really cater your teaching and to be patient and to really understand, like, hey, you have to, really be a good teacher in order for things to really to flow well and for your students to really appreciate you. I remember for me too, like when I was getting trained, I didn't know what I was doing, but the person who was training me was so patient, and I really appreciated that. It went such a long way. So,
Yes. A good trainer would definitely, kind of almost make you fall in love with this industry as well. If you their passion, you can kind of intake that as well and just be successful. But I definitely feel not everybody is meant to be a trainer. For instance, some of our best waxers at the locations did not want to train because they didn't have the most patience to teach someone.
mhm.
And with me, I had to kind of learn that and have patience. And one of my most successful stories was, I remember we were in Lubbock and it was her first location. And there was this waxer. She didn't even know how to turn the stick properly. However, she would come up before we started the training sessions. She would start practicing her scripts because we had specific scripts to practice. She would just be, I guess, you can't see me, but she would just be making the movements in the air on how
Mhm.
to apply. And the owners wanted to let her go. The manager wanted to let her go. But what she showed me was that passion that she wanted to be, she wanted to learn, the waxing technique. And the other girls who got it right away were like, oh, I know everything. I just want to be here and work. And when the owners wanted to let her go, I said, no, you cannot let this girl go because she wants it more than anything. And 6 weeks later, when we went back, she ended up being the most successful waxer out of the whole location. And
Wow.
how did you see that? And I was like, I can't tell you, like I always know when someone is gonna do it, but with her, it's like she wanted it more than anyone else. And the fact that she couldn't even twirl the stick correctly, to now she's teaching other people how to wax. Like any other person without any patience would have been like, no, she has to go. But you do have to have a lot of patience. And I did train her differently because the other girls were a little bit more advanced versus her. But yeah, training is definitely my passion. You do have to have a lot of patience. And I feel like if you do, you can make, a very successful waxer out there.
I love that. You saw her potential before
Mhm.
anyone else did. And it just took that little bit of like walking with her to
Yes.
really,
Or believe.
help her. Yeah, just to believe in her. I love that. Oh my gosh. And you also mentioned that you visited Lubbock. I'm actually in Lubbock, so that's really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yes. How long ago were you here?
So I want to say, so this is when I was with the company. So I was probably out there. It was towards the end of my journey with them. So I came back in 2016. So probably 2015 in the beginning 2016. I
Okay.
was that big.
Okay. Okay, nice. Cool. Okay, so talk about your transition. So from
Okay.
you're a trainer
Mhm.
and you're waxing, did you already know that you wanted to go out on your own at some point, or was it something that just kind of happened?
Well, this is I would say it kind of happened out of my hands. I ended up getting sick and when I was in Miami and I was hospitalized and I just got, this rare condition and my I couldn't work as hard as, as I was working with them and they couldn't give me the proper medical care that I was receiving out there in Miami. So one of my doctors recommended, he goes, unfortunately, this condition is very rare that it targets a lot of Asian women. So they kept asking me if I'm Japanese, if I have come from Asian descent, and I didn't. So my cardiologist recommended that I move to a city where there's a high Asian population because those doctors out there will know what to do with me. So he said you could either go to New York City, to San Francisco, or to Houston, Texas. And when he said Houston, I'm like, well, I'm from Houston. That's kind of crazy that you say you're calling, my hometown.
Yeah.
And yeah, medical leave. I came out here to get treated, and my intention was to come out here, get treated, get the proper care, and go back to Miami and go back to the grind. That's exactly what I wanted to do. However, that wasn't going to be the case because my doctor here now told me, well, this is going to be a long process. So do you want to go through this by yourself over there, or do you want to go through this with your family here? And that was just my answer. Like, okay, well, I'll go through this here.
Hmm.
And I took about a year off and once I was ready, I got cleared and they like, you're in remission now and you're good to go. So I didn't know what I wanted to do at that time. I was like, do I leave waxing and go to the salon, and do facials again? Cause I used to do facials my first 2 years. Um, do I doing it by myself or starting my own company was not even in my head at that time. So I started applying to a few European wax centers here in Houston. And in the meantime, I decided to buy a wax pot, buy some wax, start, offering friends and family waxing services for free, or not for free, but just basically pay me for the supplies, but let me do before and afters. And yeah, that's how that kind of transitioned into my own thing.
Okay, nice. Okay, so you have changed the game when it comes to marketing and how you like record your videos.
Yes.
So I first discovered you through coworkers in
Mhm.
2018. So I was working at Waxing the City and we were looking at your videos. And at this time, this was my, I was like I just learned how to wax. So I hadn't seen any really other techniques outside of what I had been taught. So I saw your strips and they were like really big at the time. And I was like, these are big strips. Like, what is going on? But
Mhm.
I think what I really gravitated towards was just the process of
Mhm.
like from the before and after process. So from waxing someone who has, all this hair to now we have no hair. I think I got so I don't know, I guess attached to your videos. What made you like decide to start marketing yourself on Snapchat? Because Snapchat didn't really like it didn't allow any of that stuff to to be on
Well,
video at the time.
or so you think. Um, I was, doing my before and afters, cover, of brows, underarms, of nose waxes, something that's not an intimate area. And who was big at that time? Dr. Miami on Snapchat. He used to record
Ah,
his BBLs. He used to record his vaginal rejuvenations, and he would post all.
oh,
So I'm sitting in the living room with my family. It's so crazy. And I remember like posting, watching his videos. And here comes my mom, like, let me see what you're watching. And my mom, she's actually very young. So her and I are just like sisters. So that's why we have like a comfortable relationship. And I was showing her, and it's a shock value. It's like,
mm-hmm.
what are they showing you? At
Right.
first, I don't know what I'm watching, but then it gets very intriguing and you want to see the end result, right?
Mm-hmm.
Said it out loud. I wish there was a Brazilian waxer who showed that. If he's able to do that, well, why can a Brazilian waxer do that? And my mom goes, well, why don't you do it? And I was like, you think I could do it? And she's like, well, he's doing it. Why can't you? And yeah, from there, I asked my very first client. I was so nervous when I was sending her a text message. You do the whole start off with a positive, and then give her idea, and then end it with a positive. And I messaged her, and not only did she agree to it, but she goes, "Yeah, you could even post like educational aftercare on there. I can go on this angle so they could really see. Like, this is my client who agreed to do it." And yeah, that's how that. So the idea came from my mom.
Love it.
Um, Gave me that push actually, but I was watching Dr. Miami doing all of these services, and I just said, why can't a Brazilian waxer do that? And yeah,
Yeah.
that's when she's like, you should definitely, try it. Why don't you do it? If he can do it, why can't you? And
Right.
yeah, it blew up after that.
Yeah. Okay. So how long were you in business at this point when you decided to do the Snapchat?
Like 2 months. But
2 months?
remember,
Okay.
I'm not technically in business yet because all I'm doing is recording services while I'm still trying to apply for other European wax centers. So when I
Okay.
recorded my video, I had no idea, Waxology 101 wasn't even a name yet.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yes.
that.
No, it wasn't even.
Okay.
I was like, oh, let me just do this until, I find a job at a European wax center that's, pretty close to home.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you get models to record for you or to, yeah, the
So
process?
So I okay, so I started like at the end of November, and then by January, I that's when I recorded my very first Brazilian wax model. And I did the before and after. I still have that picture too. I need to frame it, but it has a rose over her vulva. And um during Facebook time, they had these makeup groups called Slaying Dolls and um something else I can't remember. So I will post on there, hey girlies, if y'all are interested on seeing how a Brazilian wax is done, or the before and afters, go over to my Snapchat and follow me. And my Snapchat names was still my name, so I didn't even have the whole Waxology 101 name yet. And yeah, through these makeup groups on Facebook, that's when I posted my before and afters. And once they got over to Snapchat, that's when I started requesting for models. And at that time, I was only charging $25 to be my Brazilian wax model. So yeah, that's how that transpired.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So what did you see? What was the positive things that you saw from that? Did you like have this idea where now, like, okay, I can, I've got models, I've got clients, now I can maybe start something? Like, what was that transition like?
Hey, SD Bestie. Okay, so let's be real. We all know that the wax you use can make or break your business. Are you struggling to find the right wax? Is your current wax breaking and leaving hairs behind? Well, honey, I got you, because Nova Wax is here to rescue you from the headache. Nova Wax is low temperature, never breaks, and will cut your waxing time in half. Use code Thewaxingesthetician to save 15% off on your order. Come join the Nova fam.
So, okay, so I remember once I started getting busier with that and I started getting models, then I needed to come with an official name, right? And at that time I used to mix wax blends together. I used to get all these waxes, from different companies and blend them in. I have so many videos of me just blending waxes. And my mom's friend at the time. So what would happen is that they would all come over and everybody wants to get waxed. Like when we're doing barbecues, a little hangout. So of course, I'm in the kitchen right there waxing everybody's brows and, noses and whatnot. And so during this time, I'm over here mixing all these waxes and I go, oh, I'm like a mixologist, doing all this. And my mom's friend goes, yeah, but you're really a waxologist. And so I'm telling you, all these ideas like come from the other people,
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Waxologist at Waxology, And then I looked up the name Waxology, and of course, some people were using it and so on, like somewhere in Florida, and I think another company in Australia. But I wanted my Snapchat to be more of a teaching Snapchat, like a method. So that's why I added the 101 behind it. So Waxology 101. And I started having all these people at my home because I was waxing out of my house of a little room there. One day when I was out of town, my mom and her boyfriend actually fixed up the room with my license and the bed and everything. And they're like, we really think you have something here. You have here at our house. My mom's serving the mimosas on a Saturday morning.
I
Yes,
love that. Wow.
it is a family business here, I would say, from everybody helping me out. Every time I move locations, they're helping me out. But after, I want to say that was started in January when I got really busy, and by April I rented my first studio.
Okay, nice. This really goes to show you how big support really is. Having a really good support system and someone that believes in you and your journey, to kind of help, kind of kickstart some things and to really just have someone to support you through it all. So I love that. I love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Big supporter on my family and friends when it comes to their business ideas. Just go out there and get it. What's going to happen if, even if you do fail, okay, just try a different way. So I feel because I am like that, I am very blessed with a lot of friends and family who are the same way when it comes to my business as well.
Beautiful. Love it. Okay. So from when you moved into your first suite, did you take a lot of those clients that you've already had? Did you already at this point, were you having clients on a routine with waxing and they just kind of followed you over to your suite? How did that work for you?
I want to say maybe 50-50, because when I first started, I had the type of system that I had was paper, a book, and a pen. Text me through my personal number when you wanted an appointment. I will write you down, and then you'll show up. Of course, I feel like people weren't respecting policies. There will be late. They're expecting somebody up until 10 p.m., And so I want to say it's 50-50 when I transitioned. Then I got the people who were hesitant to book with me because I was waxing out of my house, who now with me because now I am at a salon, renting a suite. But I did lose a few people who were used to the whole texting me whenever they were ready, texting me the day of, and now had to put a credit card on file, So it was kind of a win-win situation because I lost a few. However, I gained a lot of clients who were kind of respect, I guess, the policies and the procedures I was going to have in place now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I started out of my house too. I was waxing actually in my living room. So it was an open space. It wasn't even a door. So when I transitioned, I kind of can relate. There's some people who didn't want to book with me because I was out of my house, and there's other people who didn't follow me to my suite just because they were used to coming in my house and things like that. So, okay, so from when you got into your suite, how did you start getting clientele? What was your strategy? Because what year was this? Because I don't know if social media was like or videos was like a really big thing yet, like on Instagram and things like
Um, 2017.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, I
Yeah.
only from Facebook to Snapchat.
Okay.
That I hadn't even made an Instagram account at that time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so now I'm getting from hundreds of followers to thousands of followers on Snapchat. It was a whole shock factor for so many people. You know,
Yes.
I got a lot of positive, but I also got a lot of negative from that too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you want to focus on the positive. And so literally marketing myself was a whole other full-time job that you just don't get paid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it started off really well, because you're just out there for the hustle and bustle on
Mm-hmm.
post all this content. And I was such a people pleaser that I could not let go of a message unread or unanswered. So in the beginning, when I only had 200 to 300 followers, it was a lot easier. Once I got into the like 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 followers, I just started stressing myself out because I couldn't answer everyone's, messages on there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's how fast my social media presence had grew on Snapchat because, of the shock value that I was given from the Brazilian waxes. But yeah, just marketing myself on social media was big
Wow.
for me.
Yeah. Okay. So do you still currently use Snapchat for your
No,
videos?
sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And just last week, maybe like 2 weeks ago, I posted something, right? I don't know
Mhm.
what I posted, like the new salon, and two clients have booked. And, and I'm like thinking, like, we asked, how did they hear about us? And when I see Snapchat, I'm like, whoa, I haven't had a Snapchat client in a while.
Mhm.
One of them told me, she goes, I used to follow you, then I felt like you disappeared, and then you just popped up on my Snapchat, and then I booked an appointment. So I'm like, okay, I think I need to focus again on Snapchat. uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, once my page I had about 50,000 followers on Snapchat,
Mhm.
and I don't know if it kept getting reported or because of people or because of Snapchat, but it got disabled and I lost basically all the
Hmm.
followers there. Yeah, so that kind of brought everything down, and had to start all over with Snap.
Oh my goodness, talk about the starting over because I remember when I saw that message, and it was the same, I think I found you on Instagram because I couldn't find your Snapchat anymore. And I saw that, your account got disabled and I was so sad. I was like, oh my gosh, no way.
Mhm.
So what was that transition like? I know from thousands of followers to starting from scratch on a different platform now.
Yes. So not only did my Snapchat get deleted or disabled, my Instagram got deleted, and I was at 25,000 followers on that one.
Oh my
This was
God.
this was during COVID, actually, and my whole demeanor for everything went just down.
Mm,
It was like, F this, I don't want to do this anymore. I worked so hard, to work on these pages that it just got wiped off. And now I'm starting with one.
yeah.
That was my first thought, my first true feeling. Like I didn't get on social media at all. I was still booked and busy, but it's just social media was the last of my worries during that time. And of course I kind of started off with negative thoughts about it. Like I didn't want to do social media anymore because for what, for somebody just to keep reporting me and so on. And however, I don't know what it was one day that I'm like, why am I going to let them win? I got to just keep doing what I'm doing, because at the end of the day, screw them. I need to help the girls out there who either need to convert from being scared to get into Brazilian wax to now getting one, and also helping the girls out there or guys, out there to learn how to wax as well too. Had a lot of students on there. So I was back to square one. It's been a slower process. This has been about 2 years now, and I'm at 4,000 followers again, but it's been a slower process now. I do find myself not posting as much, so I do go through my waves of, 1 week I'm posting like crazy. And then other times I'm like, oh, no, it does get mentally tiring.
It's hard. Like social media is a whole nother thing. And then like, of course, Instagram and TikTok, they will be quick to flag something because of the content that we post, like Brazilian waxes, obviously. So it's a challenge because like we have to market our business. We have to get clients in the door, but we also have to find this this happy place, this good balance so to where like our content doesn't get removed, so and I know that's happened to a lot of people. A lot of people probably gotten shadow banned, and I know one of my pages has gotten shadow banned as well, and I'm just like, this is frustrating. So yeah, it's hard. It's not easy at all.
I'll tell you this, Mikala, that it did bring me back to 2006 when social media wasn't a thing. What did I have to do to market myself? It was all what I was out there, we were in a shopping center, going and conversing with people. We used to do network parties, passing up cards. We used to, talk to others, going into other businesses. How many times did we got shut down? Like, sorry, we don't accept cards, but there's a few people that were able to. So it had to bring me back to that time again, that when I first started this industry, social media was not a thing. So what was I doing? So let me just pretend now that, that's not a thing, and let me figure out a way how to go back to that space again and just market myself. So now what I do is I wear my shirt everywhere. Even if I'm not working, I'm going to wear it out. It has a little silhouette. My other shirt says "Get Naked," so people want to see that. And when they turn heads and they see, that's when you could put yourself out there. So it was a little damper and everything, but however, it did bring me back to 2006, 2008, when there was no social media. It wasn't what it is now.
Right. Yeah. And that's a really good reminder. We have to get back to the basics, word of mouth is king, like putting yourself out there, wearing your work uniform or your work attire, something that is on brand, because people are going to look, people are going to wonder. I started handing my business cards out to at the drive-thru when I get my coffee. I'm just like,
there you go.
We have a conversation. I'm like, okay, come see me. I'm like, not that, I'm like right down the street. So, we've got to get back to what we were doing, like you said, before social media was even a thing, because businesses were still making it before social media. So, okay. So what advice would you give to someone who might be struggling with their clientele in this season, that's not sure what to do, and how they can kind of, really see a change?
Yes. So, I will say this, that people right now are so worried with the quantity of clients that they're trying to bring in versus focusing on the quality of the service that you're giving that one client. So for instance, like you said, word of mouth is king. Okay. That person is going to talk to their friends, to their relatives, to social media. They'll post you if you put your 100% into that one client. And so don't focus too much on getting the amount of people in, but focus on putting your all into that one person, because that one client can eventually turn into 5 to 10 other clients, So, that would probably be my advice. Market yourself as if it's a full-time job that you're not going to get paid for. And because eventually it's going to be all worth it at the end once you do have your good clients that are referring others. So focusing more on the word of mouth and referrals.
I agree. Referrals are
Or everything.
They're
Yes.
everything too.
Yeah.
You can have a referral system that can give your clients discounts for referring friends. So yeah, your friends are going to talk when they like their service. They're going to talk. Just think
Yes.
about how, when you like a restaurant, you like the
Mhm.
food, you're going to tell somebody, oh, their food is good, go try them. So
Of course.
same thing, with your clients as well. So as we get ready to wrap up, I want to know how you are carving out time for yourself. We live in this, well, we're in this industry, right? Where we're waxing, we are like giving everybody all the self-care and all the things, but sometimes we can kind of forget about ourselves at times. So what is something that you're doing that you feel like you're being very intentional with yourself?
Recently I've been getting back into the gym. That's more I mean, I don't think there's anyone that loves doing that, but you feel better afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
You I am focusing more on stuff that I love to do. I love to travel. I traveled so far, so many states and cities with European Wax Center, but now I'm doing it on my personal time. I visited other countries to learn other cultures. I'm very big on that. And family is, very important. After COVID, I kind of had to step back a little bit on what I thought was great work ethic, which means working from when the sun comes up to the sun comes down. And I burnt myself out mentally and physically. And
Mm-hmm.
so now it's like I need to get back to my healthy ways, because stress is the number one killer out here for people out there. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as waxers, it's such a physical type of job that we need to take care of ourselves with. Is the
Yes.
physical, mentally way, even the fun way. Go out there and do whatever the heck you want to do out there that's going to satisfy you and make you happy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely make sure I'm going to take care of me first, so I can be good enough to take care of my clients here at the salon.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Tequila shots help.
Right? They help a little bit.
uh, we serve a little sample of my favorite tequila here at the salon, which they all love. I have
Ooh.
turned so many people on.
What's your
Yeah.
fave?
There's this brand called Lalo. It is a blanco tequila. It's super easy, very good to drink. A little history that I tell people: it's actually the grandson of Don Julio. However, Don Julio, back in the day, they basically made all the family members to sign contracts that you cannot create your own brand, but he missed one person, which is Lalo.
Okay.
So instead of wine or champagne here, you're gonna get a sample of my favorite tequila, and so many people out there love it.
They love it. I'm gonna have to take a visit to Houston.
Oh, you're not that far. How far is it?
No, I think I'm like 8 hours from Houston. I
Oh,
want to say, yeah, it's kind of far from Dallas. I'm from Dallas though, so it's closer to Dallas. But yeah, I live a little out there.
oh, okay. No, but I mean, I just came back from New Orleans, which is 6 hours. So, and actually,
Mm.
not that bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, if you like to travel, I would much rather fly though than drive.
Of course. Definitely, if you're ever here in the Houston area, I would love to have you here. We can go out for dinner and, let you try some of the tequilas I have here.
Right? I will be there. I will let you know when I'm in
Okay.
there, when I'm in town for sure. So now that you have your own space, is there anything that you're like offering for like estheticians or for waxers? Do you offer like trainings, anything like that in your business?
Okay. So I did put a pause on my trainings because of the salon. It's a whole other ball game. Then you go from renting your suite to having a 4 suite, type of salon and employees and front desk. I wanted to put my all into this first and get it completely staffed and get the girls busy as well too. My main focus right now is making sure my waxers here are making money so they could be comfortable and have, live age. I want to say by the end of this year, I'm going to start working on my training program. So definitely that is something to look forward to. Training, as I said earlier, is one of my passions. I feel it's better to do hands-on training. And I can't wait to get back into, doing my passion again. But eventually I'll start back on the Brazilian wax trainings and maybe even full body wax trainings. But I do think that Brazilians is like the number one waxing service out there that everyone's making, great with. And that's going to be my main focus in the
Yes.
near future.
I absolutely agree. I feel like Brazilians are, in my opinion, they're easier than brows because it's just,
Yes.
I mean, it's technical still, but
Yes.
I feel like it's not as tedious as a brow shaping is. And so many people want it.
Yeah. And then eventually male, I do want to, make that a big thing too, that, hey, girls, it is an easy service that we could do to add on. And this is how you can control the room when it comes to doing that service. Because I know a lot of girls are afraid or kind of nervous to getting into that service. So eventually, I want to start with, Brazilians for women and then eventually go on to the male Brazilians.
So did you offer male Brazilians when you were with European as well? Do they offer male Brazilians there?
Yep. That time, no, they didn't. I think some selective locations they do. However, I used to be at a location called Waxology, and that's where I learned Brazilians.
Okay. I feel like male Brazilians are so daunting to me. When they were getting presented about like, oh, do you want to do male Brazilians? And I was like, I don't think so.
Let me tell you something. Once you see one client, I feel like it just gets easier and easier. I remember seeing my very first female Brazilian. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? I cannot believe I'm about to go in there, get everything. The same feeling, the same reaction I had with the male Brazilian. And then now it's like, get up, get down, get, waxed off, and you're good to go.
Right. Love it. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. It's been so incredible talking with you. I feel like I can probably talk to you for hours because I'm like, I have so many different little questions in my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, the brains behind Waxology 101. Love it.
Thank you so much for everything. And thank you for the opportunity. I love seeing, young women, going out there and, doing your thing. And I'm loving this for you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, we are going to wrap up everything. Stephanie's information is going to be in the show notes. She's Waxology 101. You can find her info down below. And until next time, we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, guys.